This is the Giacomin family Model 2 Sega Genesis, equipped with the 32X add-on. It has stereo AV output and two power supplies, one for the Model 2, one for the 32X. All games will be played with the 6-button controller. Got to pick up a Coke because Mark Giacomin drank Coke. One Mark Giacomin Coke. Welcome to the next level. Scott Giacomin. You've grown. Wise man named Omar once said that. He was right. He's gone on from being a skilled gamer all the way to the top of the 3D animation simulation video game industry world. Even working briefly at EA. And we're here today to talk about the Giacomin family Sega Genesis Model 2 with 32X. Was it where it all began? Well, I know that he had an NES because he had a copy of Boulder Dash that smelled like spit. But as far as when I remember, me and Scott Giacomin have been crossing paths since preschool. We went on opposite days of the week. We finally ended up meeting formally when I threw a hula hoop into the air and during recess, and it landed on Scott Giacomin. Landed just like Sonic's ring around him. You noticed I opened this on the Sega Channel. Scott Giacomin said his Sega journey began with Sonic 2. Scott Giacomin had the Sega Channel, so why not play Sonic 2 on the Sega Channel? Because at Time Warner Communications, it's not just cable anymore. It used to be Paragon Cable. Then one day we saw a commercial. It said Time Warner Communications. It's not just cable anymore. And that's the truth. They invented a machine that went through the cable cord and beamed Sega games in a little modem type thing into your bedroom. The Giacomin family were the only family I knew with the Sega Channel, because they believed in Sega progress. Only family I knew with the 32X, because they took their Sega to the next level. So we're going to be featuring some Sega Channel, some 32X, and some bloody games for the Sega Model 2 Giacomin family Sega we share together. If there's one thing that me and Scott Giacomin have in common, is we both love blood. He's sometimes known as Dr. Blood, but we have a dream of one day making the bloodiest video game of all time. And I haven't given up on that dream yet, and I don't think he has either. through our mutual friend, Robbie Bush, Scott Jackman and I started hanging out on the reg in 4th grade. One of the first memories I have of spending the night at his house, we went to a local video store video show in Bloomingdale Square, Valrico, Florida. Or it's Bloomingdale Square, Brandon, Florida. I'm not sure. It's now known as Bloomingdale Plaza, but at that time it was called Bloomingdale Square. And little did I know, I rented a lot of games and a lot of movies in my life. But little did I know I'd end up renting my favorite game of all time and my favorite movie of all time. My favorite movie of all time being The Thing, that we watched on his dad's TV he got from his work. That was it wouldn't play TV. It would only play VCR tapes. So it was like a TV only made for VCRs. We watched The Thing on that. And then the Giacomin family Sega Genesis, we played this game featured here, Splatterhouse 3. Okay, I'm not gonna even try to like progress in this game. I just want to see these wonderfully morbid screens talking about the demise of Jennifer. The point of this game is to save Jennifer, but it's more fun and more scary if you don't save her. And you'll see why soon. Yeah, The Thing has a lot in common with the with Splatterhouse, because he does a little move when he morphs into the giant version of Rick, where he has a million arms and legs and stuff sticking out, and it looks kind of like Splatterhouse. So this game, obviously, it took some inspiration from Friday the 13th with the Jason mask, but it has, there we go, Jennifer cowers in hiding, avoiding capture from the monster. Yeah, the special moves have a very Thing type inspiration. I think I might have forgotten how to do the special moves, though. Oh, we didn't know how to do them back then. We don't have to know how to do them now. Need to get a repro manual for this game. Splatterhouse has gone way up in price. It's very collectible now. I have Splatterhouse 2 and 3 for the Genesis. 3 complete in box, no manual. 2 cartridge only. But yeah, his dad got it from his work at the VCR TV from his work at Armstrong Tires. It's another thing me and Scott Jacomin have in common. My grandpa had a career at Armstrong Tires, and his dad had a career at Armstrong Tires. So I have a Coke tonight in honor of Mark Jacomin. Because unlike Kevin Hirsch, who drinks Pepsi, it's been said that Mark Jacomin drinks up to 2 liters of Coke a day. So I usually drink Coke Zero, but tonight's a special night. I'm drinking Coke. Yeah, it's that if you wander aimlessly, bad things will happen. I'm wandering aimlessly just because I want to see what happens to Jennifer. Because what happens to Jennifer scared me so much, so many years ago.
Take a look at the map. Oh, I'm doing too good. Gotta slow down. I must have it like burned into my brain where to go in this game, like subconsciously, because I almost made it to the final stage. That's a cool painting. Like immediately, almost immediately got to the final part of the stage. We fight the boar worm. But I'm going to wander aimlessly because I must witness Jennifer's demise like we did back in the 4th grade so many years ago. Scott Giacomin and I both have a mutual appreciation for trauma movies. Because of the blood, of course. It's pretty much anything with blood. You see that gore back there and that blood? You know, that's why we love this game. Current standing, this might be the current bloodiest game of all time. Splatterhouse on PS3 is pretty bloody too. And blood, here we go. Jennifer begins to smell of rot of the grave. That is what I was looking for. You don't think that terrified a couple of 10-year-olds? Scott Jackman might have been 9. His birthday is in May, so it would have been really late in the school year if we had rented this. I think he might have been 9 years old when we played this. The monster emits a foul smell and moves closer to Jennifer. I'm just going to backtrack because you got to see this gore that is all over the floor. Gore on the floor where you find Jennifer. I like that little hand at the top of the screen. It's really scary. This game is just scary. It I don't know if, you know, I don't know how they were able to sort of exude horror so much in the 16-bit game, but it's the music, it's the atmosphere, it's the poetry in those in-between screens about Jennifer's smell. It's all wrapped up in a perfect package. 90s horror. Here it is. Jennifer is destroyed. She's not just killed, she's destroyed by the foul beast. That paints, I mean, use your imagination what it takes for a human being to be destroyed. But look at those body parts all over the floor, and I believe he's eating Jennifer right now. I believe that evil monster is eating Jennifer right now. Look at that head right there where I'm walking. Just look at that. And this is a MA13 game. Not even MA17. It does have a warning that it's not for the faint of heart on the cover, so maybe that's how they got away with only having the MA13. This was before the ESRB was created. It was Sega's own voluntary rating system. Sometime me and Scott Giacomin, we're going to go see Megadeth play with Slayer. He took a plane all the way to Indianapolis, and we drove from Bloomington to Indianapolis to see Slayer and Megadeth play. Turns out Tom Araya from Slayer had some sort of headbanging related injury, and the show was canceled. We showed up, and there was a circus in town. The circus was in town. They were all set up for the circus. There was clowns without makeup on. How often do you see a clown without makeup? They were practicing. There was a guy huffing gold paint. There we go. Rick stands in front of Jennifer's lifeless body. Lifeless body. Just a shell. He's killed her. Use your rage against him. He's killed her. Killed Jennifer. Rage growing each step. As I mentioned earlier, the Giacomins were an early adopter of the 32X. I believe it was Christmas of '94. Mark Giacomin purchased the 32X with 3 games: Doom, Star Wars Arcade, and this game right here, Cosmic Carnage. So we were satisfied with this game because it did have blood. It's rated teen. It also has, like, I believe some dismemberment, things like that. It's not full Mortal Kombat bloody, but it's a fighting game for the 32X, which is a plus, of course. But yeah, it was a nice little curiosity. It was a good addition to the Giacomin family video game library. I had plenty of good times playing it. Is it Stellar? I mean, it is what it is. It's a solid fighting game. It has scaling, zooming in and out of the characters. I would say it with the colors and everything, it lives up to the 32X experience. This can't be done on a normal Sega. See, there's some blood. Utilizes a 6-button controller. Uh-oh. I'm done for. I don't know if this is 1-round or a 2-round game. Okay, it's 2 rounds. See if I can, I can come back. Look at that. That's the power of the 32X. No one else I knew had a 32X. I mean, 32X, they never gave it a chance because it came out so quickly before the Saturn. But to me, the Sega Genesis, Sega CD, and 32X, most powerful gaming system of all time altogether. And I think the 32X had to come out for one reason: to win the console war. Because Nintendo had Star Fox and Donkey Kong Country and everything, and did very well for a cartridge-based system. The 32X is a cartridge-based system, and it's part of the Genesis, and it's light years ahead of the Super Nintendo graphically. You can just look at 32X Doom and see that. So as far as sheer power, performance, and everything goes, Sega won the console wars. Even if it was a Pyrrhic victory, even if they lost money with 32X and the Sega CD, they still won. They still won the console war. It's not about sales. It's about what's the most powerful system. Super Nintendo brags about their sound. Sega CD has CD quality sound. Nintendo brags about doing a lot of things with extra chips on the cartridge. Sega invents a whole new add-on with new cartridges. And Sega wins the console war. And I stand by that statement. Because of the Giacomin family subscription to the Sega Channel, I really got to sink my teeth into the whole Sega Genesis experience at the Giacomin household on their cul-de-sac. You go to Blockbuster, spend $3 or $4, get a game for a couple of days, and they only have a limited selection of games. But the Sega Channel was a finely curated group of games that switched out every month. We ran across this little diddly. And back in the day, with Scott Giacomin, we only had one question when he brought up a game. Is it bloody? And this game right here, Doom Troopers, featured on the Sega Channel. Yes, indeed, it's bloody. And we remembered it for that reason. We played it for that reason. Pre-rendered graphics, just like Donkey Kong Country. Sega can do pre-rendered too. Don't forget that. And yeah, look at that body writhing on the floor and then exploding into gore. That's the kind of game that'll grab Dr. Blood's attention. Watch this. This guy's hanging on this thing. Shoot him down. His head stays up there, impaled with flies flying around it. You got to experience worlds of wonder with the Sega Channel. It likes the world I've never seen. Look, I knocked his head clean off. Did I mention, I believe this game is either MA-13 or teen rated too. What were they thinking as far as you know, the rating system was back then? Who was rating these games? This game is clearly, look, he just was impaled on spikes and his body just exploded into a million pieces. Now I'm using his body as a flotation device. This is the kind of game you experienced on the Giacomin family Sega Genesis. There's another hit from the Sega Channel that we never would have known had existed if it weren't for the Sega Channel, because this game did not sell well. But we loved it at the time. It's called Time Killers. It was the first game I ever remember playing where you can chop off the limbs of other characters and still play. And you may be asking yourself, what is wrong with this? Oh, there goes his arm. You may be asking yourself, what is wrong, you and Scott Giacomin? Why are you so obsessed with blood and gore? It's the kind of guys we are. It's why we get along. We've had very few arguments throughout our friendship. When I remember, he was trying to get me to go surfing, and I wanted to stay home and watch Megadeth videos on the Wii. He said, "You're not going to go surfing?" And I said, "I don't want to. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I don't want to get sand in my eyes." He goes, "You get sand in your pussy, and you're just going to sit here and watch videos on the Wii all day." And I said, "Yeah, life rules." And that's kind of been the trajectory of my adult life. Ever since I've had the ability to have YouTube on my television, I've lost interest in other activities, besides video games, of course. It's kind of satisfying to me. It's all I need in life. Is some video games, some YouTube on TV. But me and Scott Giacomin, we both skateboard. But he's become an accomplished surfer. And I've become an accomplished YouTube watcher. EA, where Scott Giacomin worked on the Tiger Woods video game, making 3D models for it. It's another classic game I remember playing on the Giacomin Genesis. Mutant League Hockey. I forgot to mention another thing besides blood and video games and skateboarding that me and Scott Giacomin like. We're also both huge Green Day fans. And we both saw Green Day play together live at Janus Landing in St. Petersburg, Florida in the 7th grade. Never forget that. But this game's pretty cool. You can fight and chop off heads and do stuff like that. But I'm not going to play through a whole game. Just maybe do one inning, or what is hockey? Is hockey 3 innings? I think. Scott Giacomin would know more than I do because his dad is actually French Canadian. We went on a trip to Montreal and went snowboarding. That was the only time I snowboarded in my life. And I was decent at snowboarding. I fell on my face a few times. But so we had the van. There's a guy named Terry, sort of a mentor in me and Scott Giacomin's life. He sold me this van. And I was living the van life before it was cool. We drove that van all the way from New York City to Montreal. On the way back from Montreal, it was very snowy. And we got stranded on the side of the road. And I said, I can't believe this is how I'm going to die. But I didn't die. I'm still alive. All right, I'm just trying to see some blood here. But I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if it's like the computer is even playing. I don't know if it's set on like 2-player mode. I need Scott Giacomin here to play this game along with me. But playing against a team of all skeletons. So one of these skeletons has to chop me up for me to see some blood here. So that worm would be eating the dead body parts. We're going to call this one a dud, you know. Can't be perfect, right? People talk about the Mandela effect. I could have sworn in a different timeline, Scott Giacomin Family Genesis had in its collection Mortal Kombat 2 for the Sega 32X. But apparently, according to Scott, it was only a rental. Maybe I was just so impressed by the quality of the 32X Doom that I just was confused. Because it left a lasting impression in my mind. Just to the sheer quality of this 32X Doom. And the vibrant green of the acid pit.
Round 1, fight.
Look how green that acid pit is. It's not that green in any other game for any other system. It has the hanging chains on the parallax scrolling that aren't visible in the Sega Genesis port of Mortal Kombat 2. Damn it. There we go. I still got it. I still got it. Bathe in that dark green acid pit. Now, I've already made a video explaining how Mark Giacomin tinkered in his garage and invented the 32X and invented 32X Doom. So the Giacomin's sons, Ryan and Scott, could have a way to play Doom on their Sega Genesis. But what I didn't mention is that over the years, Mark Giacomin kept tinkering. And he created this full screen 32X version of Doom with higher quality graphics, and really just made this ultimate 32X Doom experience. And I would be amiss to not at least run through the first level to show off this quality. Mark Giacomin and Kathy Giacomin and my mother are part of what they call the Resistance, which means they don't buy from Target and they don't buy from Amazon for the next couple of weeks. So but, politics aside, this is Mark Giacomin Doom at its finest. And you know, when the 32X came out, it was a weird time for video games. They had the Atari Jaguar, they had the 3DO, they had the Sega CDI, the Philips CDI, the Sega CD, 32X. It was just a crazy time to play video games. It was a crazy time to be alive in the world of video games. There were so many choices. There's never been an era like that to ever happen again. I mean, Xbox is barely even a system anymore. It's all monopolies. But I've not played Doom on the Atari Jaguar. I hear it's good, but it doesn't have sound. It doesn't have music, which I love the Doom music. So I don't know if, this new and improved version of Mark Giacomin Doom full screen on the 32X, this has to be the quintessential console version of Doom. It's reached its pinnacle. I just wanted to share it with the world. Because Mark Giacomin's work should not go underappreciated. I couldn't make a Giacomin family Genesis 32X video and not include Star Wars Arcade, because it's part of the Mark Giacomin trio: Cosmic Carnage, Doom, Star Wars Arcade. I know I just recently played this game on my channel, but I got to at least run through the first level. I was going to tell a story in the Hirsch family Genesis video, and Scott told me to save it for last. Instead, I'll be saving it for last, for this last game on the Giacomin family Sega Genesis video. I mentioned Omar before. I played the arcade version this time. Omar, who said, Scott Giacomin, you've grown. Well, Omar's family, instead of contacting a realtor when they had to move away, they decided to abandon their house. And for some reason, Mark Giacomin, the patriarch of the Giacomin family, decided that since the house was abandoned, it was kind of free reign, and he could break into the house. I don't know if he broke into it or if a door was unlocked or what, but he entered the home and explored it. And then later, all of our friends entered the home and explored it as well. And it gave me a great rush feeling. Like opening the drawers, I'd get this rush. I feel like my eyes were going in and out of my head. It was, I guess, the feeling of doing something I'm not supposed to. My adrenaline pumped. My pupils probably dilated. I just, it was a really strange yet exhilarating feeling. And I wanted to chase that feeling again. And on Clarion Drive, down the street from Sean's house, we thought in the 8th grade that we had found another abandoned house. Turns out it wasn't abandoned. The owner of the house was like somewhere in the Carolinas doing a lawsuit because he was falsely accused of murder. But I took a hammer and broke the window of one of the doors in the back of the house, cut my hand up, and we all entered the home. And the home was still furnished. It was still it was not an abandoned house like Omar's house. I believe maybe Mark Giacomin got into the Omar house because in the sliding glass doors in Florida homes in Bloomingdale East, you can just take a butter knife and pop open the sliding glass door. That's what I should have done. But needless to say, we got caught. And our friend Evan Hill's mom said, "This is a black spot on the Hill family." And it's never going to go away. This first offense burglary. But it's all part of being a kid. No innocence lost. And Corey Walter ended up being a snitch. Here we go. The bonus game. I never saw a NES at the Giacomin household. But there was one single copy of Boulder Dash. It smelled like spit. Because some people say that people used to blow into games to make them work. Sometimes us kids, we would spit into games if the blowing didn't work. I think this might be the first time I've ever even played this game. But yeah, there was no Nintendo at the Giacomin household. It was the Sega with the Sega CD32X. And you got the PlayStation 1. And you got the PlayStation 2. But he traded the PlayStation 2 in for a GameCube. when it came out, and I tried to warn him against it. He says to this day he doesn't regret it, and I guess it comes to a full circle moment. The video game career at the Giacomin household began and ended with Nintendo systems. He had a Virtual Boy, but I'm not sure if he had that when he was in high school or after he went off to college and he got it on eBay. But he did have a Virtual Boy. Oh, and you know what? He had a Sega CD too. All these memories are flooding through me. He had a Sega CDX, which doubled as a portable CD player, and he sold it to Richie Harder. We called this guy Lurch because he was real skinny and tall. So he sold his CDX to Lurch, and I believe he ended up selling his Virtual Boy on eBay. So unlike the Hirsch family, strictly Sega, the Giacomins got some Nintendo in their blood. And that's good to know because there's fun to be had on both systems. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, Scott Giacomin was one of the early adopters of the Wii system. And we would have so much fun just watching YouTube videos on the Wii in the early days of YouTube. We'd go on this website, alluc.org, and it would have all the links before Netflix streaming to like pirated movies. You could find any movie, any TV show on this alluc.org. Mostly uploaded by, or most links shared by a guy named Chico E. But that was a great way to spend my 20s. You know, there's a phrase, they call it my life in gaming. And we're making memories now. We're reminiscing of old memories of games. It's just so great to have shared these memories with great families such as the Hirsches and the Giacomins. And that's why I felt it necessary to have this event on my channel. The Hirsch family Sega and the Giacomin family Sega. I'll be making it into its own playlist for everyone to enjoy from years to come. And I hope you've enjoyed this as much as fun as I've had making it. Have a wonderful night out there in TV land. Take care of yourself and each other. Bye-bye.